Welcome to the Laughter Clinic podcast with comedian and suicidologist Mark McConville, bringing you practical, evidence-based self-care strategies, the latest research in mental health, along with conversations that inspire, educate, and entertain. This is the Laughter Clinic podcast with your host, Mark McConville.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, and wherever you are listening around the world, welcome to the Laughter Clinic podcast and the last of the Life Skills Masterclass series. And joining me for the final time is the wonderful Jodi Allen, co-host for the series. How you going, Jodi?
I'm great. Happy to be back again.
Happy to be back. So we're doing it. We've got the last episode.
We're
bringing it home in a big way. So It's been a monumental undertaking that we decided to do here, but I'm glad that we've got it done. So for those of you that may just be tuning into this and going, what on earth is he babbling on about? This is the fourth episode in a series of Life Skills Masterclass. So in episode 1, we covered the foundation tree. So these are all life skills based on the World Health Organization's 10 life skills. And we added a couple to it that we felt were important. So episode 1, we covered the foundation trio, which is self-awareness, coping with stress and problem solving. And then what did we do in episode 2, Jodi?
Episode 2, it was the thinking trio, critical thinking, creative thinking, and decision making.
All very important, and they all intertwine with each other. And then last week, our last episode, we're all about relationships and communication. So it was a connection trio. So we covered communication, effective communication, interpersonal relationships, and empathy. And so today is a big one because we're bringing it home and putting it all together. So what's on the agenda today, Jodi?
Well, we're going to the integration trio. So managing emotions, mindfulness, and my favorite, lifestyle medicine.
Lifestyle medicine.
We're going to bring everything together.
That's it. It's great, isn't it?
Yeah. So when we're talking about managing our emotions, we're going to look at how do we regulate our emotions and be present and live well and live a valued life. We're going to look into mindfulness, maybe break some misconceptions around what mindfulness is, how we can bring it quite simply into our lives without making it complicated, and lifestyle medicine. So what are those preventative things that we can do, like nutrition, sleep, bit of movement.
Is that a new term, lifestyle medicine, or has that been around for a long time? Because I know that there's been those sayings that the food is thy medicine or things like that, but the actual term lifestyle medicine, do you know where that's come from?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I don't know where it actually originated. It's been around a while in the allied health realm, trying to bring in a more holistic and preventative way of approaching medicine. And it's a burgeoning field now where a lot of allied health professionals are seeking out qualifications in lifestyle medicine alongside their traditional medicine education. So it's, helping to really bring in what are those foundations to life that are not medicine, so to speak, or taking a pill. What things can we do to improve our lives and prevent disease?
Early intervention.
And so they're really trying to now promote a more holistic way of approaching people's health and approaching disease as well.
Yeah, it's cool. So as emotional as what this is, be the last episode of the Life Skills Masterclass series. So Jodi Allen,
all the feels.
how do we manage our emotions? Talk us through it. What's going on?
Well, I think it's a good way of leading into, emotions are messengers. Our emotions are providing us with information, and we can often, it could be the way that we were brought up through childhood, or even in a career like in the military, that, suppressing of emotions is often taught, from child. Don't cry over that.
Men don't cry.
Yeah, in the military, it's pain is just weakness leaving the body. So we're really, it can be very common for us to ignore and suppress our emotions, which can just, complicates life and relationships. So it's really about understanding what our emotions are telling us, what information are they sending us, how do we healthily express our emotions, and how do we regulate ourselves. So emotional regulation is really foundational for good mental health.
And I suppose the easiest way to regulate your to enable yourself to regulate your emotions, you've got to be aware of what's going on, which is right back to where we started in episode 1, self-awareness. It's like this full circle moment. If you've been listening to the 4 episodes of the Life Skills series, you'll know that they all integrate so well with each other. So awareness, being able to recognise what emotions are bubbling up inside you, and that comes from a self-awareness, and at the same time that self-awareness is, what's triggering me? Like what's going on here? What is it that set me off?
Yeah.
If it's something that's triggered an anxiety or
why has that affected me? What is it about that?
What about this situation that's made me sad? A lot of it, I've had this big thing recently about watching the news. Like I did an episode a few weeks ago about should you watch the news, right?
Yeah.
And like that's emotional. So much of the news is
definitely.
Like I was at a catch up with some mates of mine, and I didn't know what they were talking about. They'd gone on about all this whole heap of news stuff, and they were getting really emotional about it and fired up about it.
Yeah.
And so like that in itself is having self-awareness to go, well, maybe you should not be watching if it's getting you wound up.
Yeah.
Like having that self-awareness. But at the same time, you got to really accept sometimes the emotions of what you're going through. Like you can't judge them, like if you've just lost your job, of course, you're going to be emotionally fragile and upset, or if you've got financial burdens that you're trying to figure out, or your relationship's just busted up, it's emotional times that you got to kind of allow yourself to ride that shit out, don't you?
Yeah, and I think we can then, recover and continue to, live a good life.
Yeah.
Alongside of that.
Yeah, yeah. And healthy outlets, like when you are in the depths of despair, whether it be work related or relationship related or even health related, trying to find healthy outlets to, kind of stabilise your emotions. I know when we did your standalone episode before we did the Life Skills series about what fills your cup, like what's your recalibration, because that's going to be bringing your emotions in check a bit more if you're, asking yourself that question, what do I need? We're talking about giving ourselves empathy.
Yeah.
What do I need? If I'm all wound up, do I need to go to the beach? Do I need to, go and, I don't know.
Go for a walk.
Go for a walk, play golf, go for a drive, whatever it is.
Connect with a friend.
Yeah, connect with a friend's the best one. Because poor emotional regulation is linked to anxiety, depression and relationship problems. So the good news is, my friends, that emotional regulation is learnable. Like in all of these life skills, like we said, they interact with each other. So talk Talk to us about, what's the best way to help learn some of these skills, Jodi?
Well, first of all, looking at what are the challenges with our emotions, like what I was saying earlier, we're often taught from early in life to suppress our emotions, or if we're having negative emotions, if we're in fear, if we're angry, we're often, don't you be angry with me, or, don't cry, it's okay. It's, we're often taught to not tap into what our emotions are telling us, or allowing ourselves to sit with them. So then we can often, really react impulsively when emotions are high, especially when we're feeling like fear or anger, because, often the emotions can outride, when they're really intense and we're trying to suppress them, they're going to come out somewhere.
Yeah.
Or at some time. And if we don't have healthy outlets, like we were just saying before, healthy ways of expressing our emotions, then, that's when it starts building. Just as stress builds, our emotions build, and we can become like a kettle boiling over. And that's when often we can say and do things that are harmful to ourselves and others. And then, often when we do run away with our emotions, when, the valve is released, so to speak, we can behave in ways that we are not necessarily proud of.
Or wouldn't normally behave.
Where it's very hard for us to make smart, calm choices when we're in a heightened emotional state. And then there's often the aftermath of that is shame, self-criticism.
Yeah, self-stigma, all of that.
Yeah. And then, so then we often learn to move into avoidance. What is the easiest way to deal with all of that is
to not deal with it.
And avoid it.
Yep.
And as we talked about in the last podcast, that what does avoidance do? It doesn't equal healthy relationships, and we stop communicating, our needs aren't met, our close ones, family members, partners, their needs aren't met either.
Yeah.
And it just becomes this like a rat on a wheel, so to speak.
Yeah, because it becomes so overwhelming, like your emotions, like when you're dealing with, like, aside from frustrations at work or in traffic or whatever, the daily frustrations that we all have, emotions of the heart, like when it comes to love or grief, they're just all consuming. You know what I mean?
It's very intense.
Yeah, it is intense, and it will cloud your ability to make decisions, and it will cloud your ability to communicate with people, and all of these other things.
Definitely.
And so that's when when you feel yourself getting overrun by your emotions, bringing it back to self-awareness. Bringing it back to being aware of where am I at right now, what's going on. Like just taking. We talked about having a pause in a conversation if that's getting heated with someone that you're in a banter with, or sometimes maybe taking a pause with yourself and just go, you know what, I just need to, step away from everything for, a couple of hours or a couple of days or whatever, and just go to the beach for an afternoon or do whatever it is, and just kind of center yourself and trying to have that self-awareness to bring yourself back to try and get your emotions in check, because that will then enable you to try and communicate better and make decisions better and all that sort of stuff. So, but it's hard, managing emotions is hard. There's a lot of research has been done on this in relation to and positive psychology. You know, there's a lot of research around that. So there's what they call the feeling wheel, right? Which is not the back end of a Harley Davidson or something like that. It's I don't know, like the feeling wheel basically, and I'll put a link to this in the show notes. So what it does is it enables you to kind of zero in on what the actual emotion is. You know, like sad. You know, what. Like you think to yourself, am I sad? Okay, well, why am I? What's making me sad? Like, I actually need my glasses.
It's very
to read
tiny
that.
writing.
I know, it's really tiny writing. I should have grabbed my glasses.
I can't read it either. But I think
Two people in their 50s here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that was rude, wasn't it? That was rude, McConville. Sorry, was hilarious. Just
It's all smoke and mirrors. Remember, we got to have an air of mystery here.
Yeah, right. Okay, good.
But it's the feelings wheel's quite helpful if you're having, finding it difficult to put, a label on your feelings or how to express them, because there's quite a lot of words in there that you can use that you might not have recognised.
So
what they lead into.
Yeah, so like what does, and you can ask yourself, what does the emotion need? If I'm feeling this way, what do I need that's going to help me deal with this emotion, So like anger might need, like if you're feeling the emotion of anger, it might need boundary setting.
Yeah.
You got to set some boundaries with some people, If you're feeling the emotion of sadness, it might need connectedness. It might need you to lean into a supportive relationship with someone that you've got, or it might need a bit of self-care to, take yourself to the gym or take yourself out on a walk or a bike ride or do whatever it is, that might be what your sadness needs. Or maybe you're feeling anxiety, which is, so many people, anxiety is like one of the biggest, mental health struggles around the world.
Yeah, it can be debilitating.
And there's so many different types of anxiety, So that what does that need? What does that type of anxiety that you're going through at that time need? What does it need? So, you got to try and accept what it is, where you're at, and have that self-awareness to go, okay, what do I need to help get me through this emotion that I'm feeling at the moment?
So we're recognising the emotion. We're bringing awareness and curiosity into the emotion that's coming up. We're normalising it. We're navigating it. And then what do we do with these emotions while we're feeling these heightened emotions? How are we taking care of ourselves? What are our healthy coping strategies? And practicing self-compassion. So it can be really helpful to build your own emotional toolbox. So what is going to, and for everyone, it can be quite different, can't it?
Like a self-care toolbox.
Yeah.
But for emotions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're looking at, say it's anxiety. We're feeling really anxious. It could be, anyone that, is going to stand up in front of like for you, standing up in front of an audience.
Yeah, if you're going to do some public speaking or something, which is going to drive a lot of people's anxiety through the roof.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own way of doing it, but maybe doing some breathing exercises before you step out onto the stage or before you, step into that room for that big meeting, that big presentation or whatever it is. Just pause and take a moment to ground yourself and center yourself, and you'd be amazed how the power of the breath can calm you down.
Absolutely. And I think recognizing often anxiety comes up, like the performance anxiety is because I'm anxious because I want to do a good job. I want the crowd or the audience to have a really good experience, and I want to do a really good job here. So I look at any time I have some kind of, performance or speaking anxiety, I'm learning to reframe it that it's not a negative. It's a positive anxiety because I'm going out of my comfort zone here. I want to do a good job.
Yeah, because you care.
Because I care. So it's kind of flipping. Often we have a really negative view of what anxiety is, and it absolutely can be debilitating. But if we reframe our anxiety and then just quick breathing exercises like we discussed on the previous podcast about our 4-7-8 breath, breathing in for 4, holding for 7, breathing out for 8. We know that the longer exhalation slows our heart rate, calms our nervous system. It helps to ground us, and we use our breath as an anchor. And you can play with the counts, start lower and increasing it. Grounding exercises are great. One of the very popular positive psychology ones is the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 grounding exercise. And I really like doing this with groups. We'll do it outside, bare feet.
So what does that look like?
So
you're 5 things you can see.
5 that you can see.
Yeah.
4 things that you can feel. 3 things that you can hear, 2 that you can smell, 1 that you can taste. I often get the order mixed up. But
well, you've done great.
Because often too people go, how many am I supposed to hear? I can't remember how many I'm supposed to taste. It's really not that important. It's because the whole activity is it gets you out of your head and what you're anxious about. It gets you back into your body and your surroundings, and you're taking all these sensations, external and internal, and it's getting you out of your anxious head. It's like breaking that cycle. Another great thing for anxiety is movement, going for a walk, especially, nature is our great, natural distressor.
Yeah.
Doing a little bit of yoga or Tai Chi is amazing for grounding, for anxiety.
Just walking.
Yeah.
Just going outside, walking. What did we talk about in one of the other episodes? Taking your shoes off and putting your feet on bare grass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, when's the last time you did that?
I can't.
Or the beach.
Yeah.
Standing in the ocean or the water when it's lapping up on your feet. That's beautiful.
Walking meditations are amazing too. Bare feet if you can, ground yourself, grass or sand, and music, singing stimulates, or humming stimulates the vagus nerve. Yes, you and your oms. You're a very good om. But that stimulates the vagus nerve, so our parasympathetic nervous system. Listening to your favourite music. You listen to your favourite music and it can get you out of any kind of anxiety, depression, dark moments can really be helpful.
Yeah. And it's so good that we live in the technological age that you can have all your different playlists on, your device or however it is, and you go, okay, so this is my drive playlist, or this is my, exercise playlist.
Yeah, I used to have to make mixtapes.
I know, right? You used to have to sit there and go
Walkman.
and press play and record at the same time. You have any idea the stress that was involved with that?
I had my Polish My Boots, Def Leppard soundtrack.
Oh, see, there's a whole generation that going right
and then
now.
When you
what
listen
are they
to that,
talking about?
When you listen to that music you go back to a point in time. And you listen to that music again, it takes you back to a point in time. Yeah.
It's the soundtrack of your life.
Yeah.
And Absolutely. And I reckon everybody would relate, like I've got certain songs that as soon as that song comes on, no matter where I am or what I'm doing, it takes me back to not a year or not it takes me back to a day.
A point in time, right?
Yeah. Like an
you
actual
can visualize
event.
it.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Music libraries are, such a powerful thing to have in your toolbox.
Yeah. And so what about if we, find ourselves experiencing the emotion of anger?
Yeah, and I think we need to normalize anger as well. Anger is not the problem. It's often how we deal with our anger and how we express it.
Mm-hmm.
So anger is a normal emotion in response to a stressor, but how are we dealing with that anger and what's our behavior around it? So, we can have in our toolbox, okay, I'm feeling angry. Perhaps I need a physical release here. It could be going and doing heavy weights at the gym, doing, getting a boxing bag or something like that.
See, on the surface, that sounds like a good way to deal with anger, like in a healthy way.
Yeah, because it's
go
like
for a run,
often,
do something.
Often,
physical.
If you've ever been angry, you feel it viscerally, right? It's the tension and the gripping on in the body. It needs a release somehow. So, and it could be even giving yourself a little bit of time out and removing yourself from a situation that has made you angry. And again, as we were talking about in our communication podcast, of letting someone know that, hey, I'm feeling pretty angry right now. I need a moment, but I will get back to you. We will talk about this.
Yeah.
But
when
now,
I've calmed down, when I can think a bit clearly.
Now's not the right time.
Yeah. Once again, self-awareness.
And having that assertive communication, remember it's not aggressive or hurtful communication, but assertive when we're calm can help release anger. I was really angry yesterday, and this is what set me off. And then, problem solving, it's, and again, the curiosity, why did that make me angry? What was it about that? Or what was it about that person that I reacted in that way? And, even times it could be, I was really tired. I was overtired. I haven't slept in days. I'm stressed with work, and it's, manifested. And then looking at sadness, this is, something that's very real for me at the moment with dealing with grief of the loss of my beautiful dog of 13 years. And I know that I've just had to be in the last week really kind to myself and allowing myself to grieve my best mate.
Yeah, of course.
And taking that time, and initially I needed a day to just, process it. And then I needed to connect, because the next day all of my friends and family were obviously checking in to see if I was okay. So I'm like, I need to talk about this. So having self-compassion and kindness
see their relationships, effective, interpersonal relationships, powerful to help you get through the grief. Communication, your friends reaching out to you, knowing that you're going through this stuff.
Yeah.
Coming back to, like I said, harp on about it, but it's the full circle moment here. We're going through the last of the life skills, but it comes back to that in the first episode, the foundation trios, self-awareness, knowing that, okay, I'm allowed to feel this grief.
Yeah,
right now.
And I really noticed, I've even said it to you, I'm really flat. I'm flat today. My energy is flat, and that's okay because I'm grieving.
Yeah, of course.
And, having a creative outlet, the night that my dog Peppa passed away, I journaled. I journaled the crap out of it. And it was a way for me to express my grief as well. Another way for some people it can be art or poetry. I've received some beautiful poems from some of the participants on the PTSD program. Like they're expressing their gratitude or their pain through poetry and through journaling. So it can be really helpful for sadness and grief.
Yeah, that's cool. Because, self-compassion, sometimes you just got to love yourself, and allow yourself to be where you are in the moment.
It's okay for me to feel this.
Yeah, and the same with the emotion of feeling overwhelmed. Because there's a lot of people that are probably feeling overwhelmed at the moment. Like if you've got work commitments and family commitments and financial commitments, if you work for yourself or you're responsible for staff, this.
Yeah. This is life.
Yeah, this is life. And if you're following what's happening in the news constantly, that can be overwhelming for you if you're one of those people that takes all that shit on.
Yeah.
So it
or even just the simple to-do list, can be overwhelming. And then, we procrastinate because procrastinating is easier than often doing all the things on our to-do list. But if we, break our tasks into smaller steps, like for me, I love a to-do list. I've got a little, journal that I take everywhere with all my admin type things in it, and it's tick things off. And sometimes I've even done a task and I will write it down and then tick it because it's like it feels good.
I've done the exact same thing because you look back at your day and go, why is there nothing in that morning? And then you go, okay, I actually did this tick.
I did this and this. I'm writing that down. I'm ticking it off.
I do that all the time.
Yeah. And I've started to learn now to overcome procrastination. I try and do my hardest task first.
Got to do it.
You feel like the weight off your shoulders because procrastinating for years, it's like this.
ADHD. Hello.
I'm pretty sure I'm undiagnosed.
I tell you what, one of the biggest things that I think has helped me out, and I've just reread this book, and that's Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Successful People.
Yes, I've actually got that book.
The four quadrants of your to-do list.
Yeah.
Right? And I've got to tell you, it is a game changer. I'd totally forgotten about it.
Yeah. What's in the four quadrants? Can you remember?
Okay, you've got quadrant one is critical and important.
Yeah.
Right. So these are things that you've got to get done today. Whatever, you've got to reply to this. You've got to get back. High priority. Right. The second quadrant is not urgent but important.
Right.
Okay. Yep. So this is the quadrant where you're building your career.
Okay.
Right? These are all things that you do that are career orientated.
Yeah.
Quadrant 3 is for memory, not urgent or urgent but not important. And then quadrant 4 is like not important, not urgent. You know, and and he gives you in all honesty, look, if you type in Stephen Covey's 4 quadrant things into ChatGPT, you'll get a much better bloody summary of it than what I just gave you.
Yeah. No, but it's good. It's breaking the tasks up.
That's right. And the whole thing is that it tells you that you need to spend, like the way in his book he explains it, to lead a productive life, you need to spend as much time as you can in quadrant 2. Right? They're not urgent tasks, but they're important.
Yeah.
Right? These are the ones that are building your career. These are the phone calls that you're making to agents. Like for me, these are the ones that, you know, planning podcast episodes, working on artwork, writing comedy material, working on building a new corporate presentation or something like that. anything that is career orientated is in that, and you very quickly see what you can drop off and what you can delegate. Like I think quadrant 3 is the quadrant where a lot of things in that quadrant you should be able to delegate to other people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's helpful to I think, prioritize.
Yeah, because overwhelmed, we all feel overwhelmed. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
And look, there's so many different, we all love a good acronym, don't we?
Oh.
Don't we love a good acronym? Everybody loves a good acronym.
We love them in the military, that's for sure.
I've got one. My HAIL program.
Oh, yes.
Human Laughter Education.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I'm all over it.
Fancy, you got your own.
Oh yeah.
Got your own acronym.
Sure I'm the first person in history that's come up with human laughter education. So the one that I want to chat about though is the RAIN technique. It's because it's a popular mindfulness one. It's self-compassion. So RAIN, RAIN. So the R stands for recognizing the emotion arising in yourself. Harping back to that self-awareness. So recognizing what's happening. The A is allow it to be there. Allow yourself to sit in that emotion, sit in your grief, sit in your sadness, whatever. And
Don't fight it.
We talk about grief and sadness, but also happiness. Allow yourself to be happy.
Yeah, that can often be, there's can be guilt and shame around.
Allow yourself to be
joy
happy.
and happiness after,
After in a grieving process, like I went through it so much when my father was dying of my stepfather was dying. He had 9 brain tumours, and I would go from his hospital bed to drive across town, go to the comedy club, and walk on stage and do a gig.
Oh wow!
And I'd be backstage just a wreck, going, "Fuck, how can I possibly do this?" And the other comics were going, "Just worry about the first couple of minutes. Just worry about the first couple of minutes." And then I'd go out there, and every one of those shows in that time period was a banger. It was because I was just out there and I was just letting it all out, the venom. And they were all great shows, great fun, and I'd come off stage feeling happy. And
you actually needed that.
I never allowed myself to feel it. When I look back at it now, because this is 20 odd years ago. I look back at it now and I go, I never allowed myself to be happy because I felt guilt. Because I came off stage feeling that euphoria that you've experienced when you've just done a great gig.
Yeah.
And then the reality would hit that, I shouldn't be here having a good time and all of that jazz, when in actual fact.
We know laughter is like therapy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Isn't
absolutely.
it?
Yeah. And for me personally, like giving that to other people, what I got out of it
is your therapy.
Is amazing,
Yeah.
But I didn't allow myself to sit with the happiness, So, recognizing what's happening is an emotion, but allowing yourself to sit with it, You're allowed to be happy.
Yeah.
Like once you're in a grieving situation, at some point you're going to laugh again. You're going to love again. You're going to play again. You're going to do all of these things again.
Yeah, and they're beautiful emotions to go through.
Yeah. So recognize, allow. The I is for investigate. Where do I feel this? Where do I feel this happiness in my body? Where do I feel this anxiety in my body? Where is it? Where is it hitting me? And then the N in RAIN is for nurture. Offer yourself some compassion, like we were saying about being compassionate about ourselves, taking that self-care. So recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So my friends, have a crack at using that technique. Before you get all wound up in it, before you get that anxiety build up, because there's so many different, like we were saying about DBT is another one, dialectical behavioural therapy.
Thank you.
I I don't know why I struggle with that word.
I struggle with so many words. There's no judgment.
No judgment. Excellent. We're a judgment-free zone, ladies and gentlemen.
right.
That's right. When emotions don't fit the facts, do the opposite action. So, example like anxiety, you might feel, okay, so like we were talking before about if you're feeling in a depression and you're feeling this anxiety about reaching out, and doing some help-seeking behaviour or something like that, your emotion is saying avoid, don't do it. But in actual fact, trying to do it anyway.
Yeah.
Finding a way to do it anyway, whether that's with the support of someone.
I was just going to say, have a supportive network.
Someone that you can ring up and say, look, I really want to do this thing today, but I'm just feeling so anxious about it. I'm feeling so wound up. Are you able to come and help me go and do this, that, or whatever?
Yeah.
I think is really important. Reaching out to other people is especially when you're all wound up, is so important. Anger, like we're talking about doing the opposite reaction. Anger. If you're feeling angry, you just want to attack. Like you're sitting in the traffic and someone's cut you off, or you're doing whatever at the shops and someone's pissed you off. You just gotta take a breath and try and calm the farm. Anger is an interesting emotion because we seem to go like I had a time in my life where I was super angry at everything.
Yeah.
And I would go from 0 to 1,000. Like
can't imagine that you doing that now.
Yeah, I know now, but like it was. I can tell, like it was. I was going through. I lost my father, lost my stepfather. I had one of my best mates in the world was, brutally diagnosed with pancreatic cancer when he was 50. And he was the big, fittest guy you'd ever meet. It's sometimes life's not fair, right?
Yeah.
And I was having work problems with gigs and people not paying and all this sort of stuff, and there was so much anger bottling up in me. It was incredible, and it was actually that was at the time where I got the proper diagnosis to go from depression to ADHD. Right, because I'd moved from Brisbane to the Gold Coast and changed my doctor, changed my psychologist, all that sort of stuff, and it was the new diagnosis and the new regime of morning routine, and starting to learn how to meditate, learning some mindfulness techniques myself, which we're going to talk about shortly, and journaling and all this sort of stuff, and just getting it out, And so I it's weird. Like people see me get angry now, and like, oh, why are you so angry? And I go, you've never seen me angry.
Yeah.
And I feel glad. I feel so grateful that I've been able to put all that behind me now.
Yeah.
Because I look back at when you're feeling angry, it's so overwhelming.
It is. It takes over, and it really
and it increases your impulsivity.
Yeah.
You do stupid things when you're angry.
And say things you don't mean.
Yep. You say things you don't mean.
Yeah.
You do stupid things, and you can be you can be a harm to others, or you can be harm to yourself.
Yeah.
Like at the worst time I was a harm to myself.
Yeah.
I got so angry about something that I punched a wall and broke 2 bones in my hand.
Yeah.
Because I was so angry about everything that was happening.
Yeah.
And
but when you look at it with awareness and reflection, you realise what was behind that anger. There was a lot going on.
Oh, there was.
there, and there's a lot of emotion.
Oh,
and
yeah, there was.
a pain that was behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a transitional phase as well. Like when you say there was a lot going on, like everything that was happening with, death in the family, finances, relationship stuff, all this sort of gear, and it's the old saying, there's only so much a koala can bear.
Yeah. Well,
How much can a koala bear, right? I mean,
and they're big ticket items.
they are big ticket items.
Yeah, no wonder it was overwhelming. And I think just quickly, it's really, before we move on to mindfulness, it's really important to just have a quick discussion, I think, around when you were saying, just reach out to a friend, just do it anyway. I think something that comes up a lot with participants in my programs is around I don't want to be a burden. And you would know this through your suicide research as well.
Burdensomeness is a big one.
I can't see. There's a word I can't say.
Burdensomeness.
Burdensomeness. Yeah.
Which is
I don't want to be a burden.
It's a big red flag for suicidal behaviour,
isn't it? And it is a common theme is that I don't want to reach out to my friends. I don't want to reach out to family or do it anyway because, asking someone to do that for me, I feel like a burden. And that's what we always say is, can you reach out to a certain amount of, people? Is it 5 or 6 people? Hey, if I'm in not a very good place, will you be on my bus? Will you be someone that I can, and based on their responses and, most people do not ever get a rejection. It's like, yeah, I want to be that person for you. I want to be on your bus. Because often we think we're going to be a burden, but we're actually not. Those that are close to you want to be there to support you and help you.
Yeah, of course, and that's, like the burdensomeness is, we're talking about that emotion and that being a big red flag for suicidal behaviour. So I just want to say at this point, if you ever hear this sentence or something similar, my friends and family would be better off without me around.
Yeah.
That's a warning sign.
Yeah.
That because unfortunately they believe it to be the case, and it will never ever be the case that anyone will be better off.
No.
And so, if you do hear that person, needs some help.
Yeah.
You need to try and find a way to, if you're on the phone to them, find out where they are. Are they by themselves? Do they have access to means to harm themselves? Here in Australia, do you call 000 or wherever you're listening, whatever the emergency, do you need to call the police to do a welfare check to check up on them? Don't be afraid to make that call.
Yeah.
Because, the research shows us that burdensomeness is a big driver for self-harming behaviour, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up.
I thought it was important that we talk about that because it's not always easy for someone to reach out.
Yeah. And one of the big things that turned me around in relation to helping me ditch on my anger was mindfulness. It's a beautiful thing.
It is.
I remember when I was diving right into it, right at this, because when you first learn about certain things, you become a bit of a sponge for all of the information. You want to take it all on board, and the big thing about living in the moment, you've got to be in the moment.
Yeah.
And I remember I'd watched a movie, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, I think it was.
Oh, yeah.
And there's all these different moments, and so I think I got to the point one day where I felt like, and when I look back at it now, I go, oh, you're such a dick. So I was like mindfully walking through a doorway, right? So because you think about doing this task that you do automatically, you grab a door handle, you turn it, you open the door, you walk through, you close the door, right?
Yeah.
But if you do it mindfully, You're feeling how the handle feels in your hand. You're turning the knob slowly. You're feeling all of the latches all of those barrels unlock the latch. And then you're pulling on the door and you're feeling the weight of the door and how much energy it takes you to physically open that door. And then you're deciding how much of the doorway is open before I can actually walk through it. And like, so you're fully mindfully walking through this door, right? And I look back at it now and I go, I must have been so painful back then.
Because I was just about to say, someone with ADHD trying to open a door mindfully. Jeez Louise.
No.
That's a challenge in itself, isn't it? Because it's such,
But you know what I'm saying? Like, that's living in the moment to the...
Yeah. It's like, a famous mindfulness practice is the washing of the dishes. You're feeling the temperature, the water temperature and the suds and, you're just washing the dishes. That's nothing else is happening. And you're feeling all of the sensations. And so, what is mindfulness? A lot of people, confuse or have the misconception that mindfulness and meditation is sitting in the Om position, all Zen, and emptying your mind. And it's, you've got to be still and there's got to be nothing and you're not allowed to think of anything and you've got to empty your mind. And that's
got to be the worst thing you can say to someone is to say, clear your mind.
Yeah. It's like, because then what you fall into the trap of is fighting against your mind. And really mindfulness is about just paying attention to the present moment without judgment. Just, where am I right now? I am here. And it's just surfing, I like to say, just surf your thoughts, just to let them come and go.
I love the fact that it's such an ancient practice.
Yeah.
That has got modern research now supporting.
There's so much science
that's what I was saying
it.
with this, the saying laughter is the best medicine, being around since biblical times, and now there's research
We've
to
got
show.
the science to back it up.
And the same with mindfulness and meditation and stuff,
Yeah.
I love the fact that there's modern research supporting all these ancient techniques.
Yeah, absolutely.
So talk to us about Jon Kabat-Zinn's.
Yes. So he really brought mindfulness research into the present day, and he developed the 8-week mindfulness-based stress reduction training, MBSR, and it's now widely accepted, in hospitals, allied health. I've done the program myself, and it's been shown to, clinically, it has been shown to reduce stress and anxiety, improve focus and attention, improve emotional regulation that we've been talking about, enhance self-awareness that we've also been talking about, helps to improve relationships, and actually they've shown changes in the brain.
So is this a course that you actually physically went and did somewhere, or is this a course that you can do online?
Yeah, so you can do both. So the one that I did was offered to...
Should I be able to find a link to this that we can put in the show notes?
It's delivered in many different organisations. So
okay,
you could...
I'll just put the name of that in there.
Yeah, just put the name of the 8-week MBSR. If you can Google it and have a look at courses in my area or online courses. I did one that was specifically for ex-serving people. So there was a cohort of ex-serving members, and it was, Department of Veterans Affairs were really encouraging that. So, and I'm pretty sure it's in the veteran hospitals in the US now. So widely accepted because of all of its positive benefits.
Yeah, because we're going to do something, at the, like with all the algorithms and our devices, our minds are constantly wandering. Like, it's amazing how many times. Can you think
distractions.
Think about this when you were say a teenager, say you're in your early 20s, you go to the doctor, or you go somewhere, and you sat in it. You had to sit in a waiting room, right? Okay,
Yeah.
and if they didn't have magazines there or whatever, you pretty much just sat there and you looked around. You might have started up a chat with the person beside you or something,
Yeah.
Same thing on a train or a bus or whatever. You'd look out the window and you'd actually be observing and engaging in the world around you, whereas I can't believe the amount of times I've been on a plane, at an airport, shopping centre, wherever, or waiting in a waiting room, and just every single person is on their phone.
Oh, yeah. Lining up for coffee. It's as soon as
you can't line up for coffee without.
It's a constant distraction.
I mean, seriously, if you can't stand in a line for coffee for about 3 to 4 minutes without.
But it's automatic. I think a lot of people do it. It's an automatic thing now. Our phones are always in our hands. Like when I go to the gym, people take forever to do their sets now because they sit and scroll on their phones between sets, where you used to have a chat to someone. It was much more of a social.
Are they scrolling or are they trying to take a selfie?
We have rules in my gym. You're not allowed to take photos, which is great.
Oh, that's good.
No photos or videos, which is great. But they still sit and scroll, and I'm like, come on, can I work in with you? I want to use that machine. And 15 minutes later, they're still scrolling. It's become, and the average person spends about 7 hours. If you look at your screen time, the average person spends at least 6 to 7 hours on their device a day. It's a lot.
That's frightening. It is absolutely frightening.
Yeah.
Like, I know I've done that experiment recently to see what my screen time was look like, and it was. I was mortified. Oh, absolutely.
I looked at one time how many times I picked up.
Oh yeah, it's got the pickup.
How many times? I haven't looked at it for a while, but. I think it was like 2 years ago or something. And then I looked up how many times I actually picked up my phone in a day, and I was shocked. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but it was.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what?
No, I can't remember.
Pick up my phone like every few seconds, kind of thing.
It's like in the hundreds.
Yeah.
And you don't think of it.
No,
like
because it becomes automatic.
Yeah. So it's autopilot.
It's autopilot, and that's like when we look at. Our mind and what our brain is doing. Our brain is constantly trying to hook us into distraction to, hey, I'm bringing this to your attention. You need to think about this. You need to ruminate about it. We need to problem solve. So mindfulness is really not trying to empty our mind or, switch anything off. It is really just noticing what's coming up, no judgment, let it come and go, dropping the struggle, dropping the fight with it.
Yeah. I think the biggest barrier to people not meditating is them saying, I can't meditate.
I tried that, yeah. They'll say,
I can't meditate.
I tried that once and, it didn't work for me. Well, you got to keep going.
So I'll give you my dear listeners, I'll tell you how I overcame that, ADHD brain, trying to figure out how to, because this was 2010 when I learned to do it, and I recommend this to anybody who wants to try and dip their foot into meditation, because I can attest for how beneficial it is. Start with a guided meditation.
Yeah.
Start by finding someone, whether it's on YouTube or an app or whatever. There's so many of them out there, right? But it's got to be something that the the 3 criteria that I think you really want to look for is the person's voice.
Yeah.
Right, has got to be soothing and calming, and it can't be an accent that distracts you or something, right? So it's got to be a person's voice that you're happy to listen to.
Yeah.
The second one is it's got to be it's got to be a length of time that you can easily manage, because there's some that will go for 5 minutes, some that will go for 45 minutes, right? So deciding how long you've got that you want to dedicate to this in the morning, 5, 10 minutes, whatever. So the timing is the second one. And the third one is if it's got I preferred the guided meditations that have like the theta rhythm in the background, the
alpha
beta waves,
yeah.
the sound, right?
Yeah.
Because it helps you get into that state, right? So they're the 3 things, right? And so I was listening to what was called an inner wisdom meditation that went for 40 minutes when I first started, right? And I quickly, after about, I was experiencing the benefits and I was feeling like everything in my life was starting to fall into place. But then the more I investigated meditation and mindfulness and all this sort of stuff, the more I realised as much benefit as I was getting out of listening to the guided meditation, I would get even more benefit out of the silence. So it was probably 6 months to a year of listening to guided meditations.
Yeah.
Before
it's a build, isn't it? It's something you got to work up to.
Before making the step to the silent meditations. And then it was a step down time-wise, because I was going from listening to someone for 40 minutes to only being able to sit in silence myself for about 10.
Yeah.
Just focusing on my breathing.
Yeah, because it can be like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. It can be really challenging.
Yeah, absolutely. And the longest I've ever done, like I've got friends of mine that do these Vipassana retreats where they sit in silence for days on end and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's full on. But like when I was at the height of my practice, I was doing 20 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes at night.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the maximum that I ever got to.
Yeah, which is excellent.
And now it's back to 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, it is.
It's
some days are easier than others, and some days I don't do it. I don't do it every day.
Yeah,
I miss out days. Like the same with my journaling. I don't, and that's the thing, folks, is you got to give yourself some slack. You can't put all this pressure on yourself.
Yeah, I've noticed. Especially if you have that all or nothing thinking. I've got to meditate for an hour a day and I've got to journal and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. Often then we make it so overwhelming. We go from doing it all to
not doing it.
To not doing it. So, it can even just be,
it can be a minute.
The mindful minute.
Yeah. And that's the thing is just doing something.
Yeah.
Like in my referencing another podcast episode, I've got about journaling. There's look up that episode about journaling and the WAT framework, which is WATT, what action taken today.
Ah, nice.
So I've got the 3 things, what action taken today for me personally.
Yeah.
Whether it be meditation, journaling,
all
walking.
Squats.
Oh, God, not the squats. Not doing it.
He can barely walk today, folks, because he did too many squats.
It's not funny. That shit's not funny.
I
don't know what you find amusing about that. I think
it's hilarious.
What a shame this is the last episode that we have with you. So
I'll never be invited back.
You'll be invited back. So what action for me, what action for my career, what action for others?
Yeah.
So just showing up, just doing something. So what would a mindful minute look like?
Well, you can set a timer, or you don't even have to watch the clock, but it can be helpful when you first start to even just watch the, second hand go around a clock and just, focusing on your breath. If you can experiment with lengthening the exhale, being longer than the in-breath, helps to calm the nervous system, slow the heart rate, and really just allowing the mind, if the mind starts to wander, it's okay. Just notice it without judgment, without trying to force or change thoughts. Not trying to struggle with it, and then just come back to your breathing. So we're just letting it come and go, and that's it. It's just can be really short and uncomplicated. But we can also, while we're breathing, thoughts coming and going, softening the shoulders, releasing tension, just noticing where in the body that you might be still holding or gripping onto tension. And you can do it anywhere, and no one needs to know that you're taking a minute. You can, while you're waiting for your coffee, instead of scrolling on your phone, you can just be focusing on your breathing. And
Just sitting at the traffic lights.
It's an amazing reset for the nervous system, and it's something so easy and effective. And then you can just build. You can build over days, weeks, months. You can start from 1 minute and build to 5, and just managing your expectations. Often it's the pressure that we put on ourselves. I must meditate. I must empty my mind, and I see the guys that come to my practices that, I'm really encouraging them. Just, don't fight it. Let it go. She's sweet. No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I see the more they're trying to force the meditation, that they're agitated. And
I thought it was really interesting what you were saying the other week about the research study that you found about the benefits of journaling a couple of days a week.
2 to 3 days a week is as effective as every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Because I know, there's been a lot of research done around, meditation and what it does to the mind and brain waves and all that sort of stuff. I'd be interested to know if there's research to do a similar thing, like even if you did a meditation practice 2 or 3 times a week, it's got to be,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even if it's once a week, you're still going to see benefits. Obviously, a more frequent dose, even better. And what I have noticed in my own personal practice, because I have been doing it for so many years now, I notice throughout the day that without even consciously thinking of it, I will...
She just breathed.
If you didn't hear that through the microphone, I just took a nice slow deep breath. But it becomes automatic because you're doing it, so regularly.
I love the fact of I love the thought of mindfulness in everyday activities throughout the day.
Yeah.
I know what I was talking about before with the walking through the door was pretty extreme, right?
Yeah.
That
was a bit painful to listen to.
Yeah, I do apologise for that. But you know what I'm saying, right? But that's I'm sure there are people that would practice it to that extent, that's being totally zoning in on it. But, the easiest way to do it, mindful eating, one of the things that he talks about in the movie The Way of the Peaceful Warrior, Nick Nolte's character, is a brilliant movie. If you get a chance, check it out. He's got his young protege there and he's got a plate of food in front of him and he's like, I went into it,
Yeah.
And as opposed to just sitting and being mindful with each mouthful. And I got to tell you, I don't do it that often, but I find that when I go, I'm going to eat this meal mindfully, right, I feel like I get full a lot quicker. I don't eat as much.
Yeah, yeah.
For some reason. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just find myself going,
because
that's enough.
You're giving your body enough time to, naturally have those cues of, okay, your hunger hormones are actually having time to go, you know what? Leptin is increasing to say you've had enough to eat now.
But not only that, noticing the colours of the food, what does it smell like? What's the texture of it?
Yeah. And this is something that can be really challenging for people that have high demanding jobs, not just, military and first responders, but, a lot of people that are in high stress, work environments that
teachers.
That are eating, like rushing and eating at
On
their
the
desk,
run, yeah.
not having, or I know paramedics, they're often eating while they're driving.
They're eating in the car, that's right.
Doing a really long shift and they've skipped multiple meals because they just have no food and no time. So then it's, eat what you can, get it in your head, so mindful eating can be a bit of a challenge. But I tell you what, when you do it, there's the mindful chocolate exercise.
What's that one?
Well, you just take a square of chocolate. There's sometimes you can do it with some dietitians and that will use like a sultana. You just place it on your tongue and you're not allowed to bite into it or anything yet, but you take your time. You look at it, you smell it.
You suck on it.
You put it on your tongue, you taste it, and you go, oh, wow, I've taken all this time to have a square of chocolate, but you really slow the whole process down. You're like, now what, you're just noticing the reaction in your mouth and the texture, the taste, all of those things, and you don't want to eat anywhere near as much chocolate, but you're really savouring all of the sensation. I really want some chocolate now.
I was just going to say,
I think
that's making me want a slab of chocolate.
I'm salivating a bit.
And,
I have to stop and get some chocolate on the way home.
While you were saying that, I was thinking to myself, this is so much more enjoyable than my story about fucking turning a doorknob.
Yeah, that was great. So another one.
I gave it a crack.
You gave it a crack.
Mindful walking.
I love mindful walking. And it's funny, when I was mindful walking my dog, every now and then I would leave my phone at home, and it took a bit for my kids to adjust. Like, Mum, you can't leave your phone at home, because I'm like, I want to go for a walk with my dog and be completely disconnected. But when I first started doing it, I felt, bare. I felt,
nude.
I felt naked without my phone. But I'm like, when I was a kid, I used to walk the dogs without my phone. If I can't take 45 minutes to go for a walk without my device.
Without as a safety thing, not having your phone with you? Is that what you're saying? You need to keep your phone with you for safety purposes?
Yeah, maybe. But I'm just, walking. I'm not walking in anywhere risky areas, I'm just walking in where I live.
Yeah.
And enjoying the experience. But mindful walking, and you can also mindful walking with a meditation. You can actually find walking meditations that you can have as well.
You can listen to with your buds, get your earbuds in.
Yeah. And just walk with it's not for it doesn't have to be for well, it is exercise, but it's not the purpose of it to be anywhere or to be, burning so many calories and so many steps.
I find the mindful walking occurs naturally if you walk along the beach. With and you walk with your feet up to your maybe ankles or your shins, and the waves coming up. You can't help but be. That's mindful walking at its best, I reckon.
Yeah, beautiful.
What about listening? Mindful listening.
Well, I think this is when we were talking about our communication, active listening, just really giving the person that you're speaking to your full attention without the distractions of your phone or, TV, anything going on in the background, and really noticing your own body language, the words that you're using, your tone. I had to practice this a bit when I first started going into clinic, that, when I get excited, I talk really fast and lots of energy, and that's just how I communicate, but that's not always appropriate, so sometimes, I've got to slow the way I'm talking, and, because I get so excited, I'll give someone anxiety being in my presence because I'm talking too fast. But it's, really don't plan your response. Don't try and fix and solve. We're not planning responses.
Do you know what? You've just reminded me of something that it was an acting exercise that.
Oh, yeah.
Back to that, right? So
I like your acting exercises, your tree and your.
Yeah, well, this is to do with energy.
Ah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and it's a scale of 1 to 7. Right?
Yeah.
So 1 being no energy and a sloth. 7 being manic energy and full on, and 4 being neutral.
Yeah.
Right?
Great.
And they taught us this because, like, in each scene they would say, what energy is the character in this scene? Does he start as a 2?
Okay.
Does he walk into the room a 2 and does he end up a 7 and go back to a 3?
Yeah.
And, you'd analyse it, all that sort of stuff. And, like you're hearing you talking about, having to pull yourself up, going, oh, shit, I'm a little bit, I get excited and I get wound up.
Yeah.
You're going 6 or 7, and
but the person that you're with could be a 2.
That's right. And I talk about it with other comics about on stage when you're doing a gig. You come out to do a 1-hour comedy show, you can't be the same gear the whole way.
Yeah.
You got to come out where they're at. It may be a 4, take them up to 7, go back to 2, give them a break, be a 1 for a little bit, up to 5, drop it back. And. Yeah, it just reminded me of that when you were saying I can be overwhelming when I get excited. I'm like, well, we've all been there.
Too much, Jodi Allen, too much. But we do it on the Triumph Over Trauma program in the mornings. We check in on, from a 0 to 10, what's everyone's energy this morning, and then it really helps me. If I'm seeing people are feeling a bit flat, we can check in throughout the day. Where's everyone's energy at right now? And I can adapt the program a little bit based on everyone's energy and meeting everyone where they're at. So yeah.
Another mindful practice, something that we do every day, is showering or washing your teeth, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, some type of grooming or self-care, just noticing, when you're brushing your teeth or you're combing your hair or you're having a shower, you're feeling the water coming down over you. So it can be one of those things that there's so many things that you can do if you go, you know what, I'm gonna mindfully do this.
Just gonna slow this down
and take notice of the little moment. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, being in the moment.
In the moment.
So talk to us about the STOP practical strategy.
I really like the STOP practice acronym, another acronym.
We love the acronyms.
But STOP is a very easy one to recall, and it's when we're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. S is stop. So stop what you're doing.
Take a pause.
Take a pause.
Look around.
Yeah, you can look around if you like. T is for take a breath. Just take one big deep breath. And then O is observe. So what's happening? What am I thinking, feeling? What sensations are coming up? Just tuning in with our body and our mind. What is it telling us? And then P is proceed. So just continuing with awareness. So we're feeling overwhelmed. We're just going to stop, take a breath. What's happening? And then we continue on our way. And it can be so simple, but it can really be a break between reactivity and, us flipping our lid.
Yeah.
For example, I had a client who was a police officer that would go to, a shopping centre car park and feel really overwhelmed and then anxious, and then he'd get angry at anything that was going on in the car park. He felt it was was he going to run into someone that he didn't want to run into? And he found the STOP acronym when he went home really helpful when he started noticing, here we go, this
Could feel it. It's self-awareness.
It's coming up. Stop, take a breath. Yep, I know what's going on. Okay, I'm going to go into the shopping centre. Or I'm going to go into my car and I'm out. So, it's something that you can use throughout the day.
I like the idea of that using it at a point of transition in your day.
Yeah.
You come home from work and, I'm sure everybody's got their own rituals when they come home from work, what they might, it might be a case of, you get out of your work clothes or,
you have a shower,
you play with the kid, whatever it is that you do, but I think in that transitional phase is a good time to stop and be mindful and go, I'm out of that mode now, and now I'm getting into this mode, or vice versa. You've had a wonderful morning hanging out with your partner, you're going to work, you've been hanging with the kids, whatever. Traffic, you got all the green lights, it's great, and you get to work and it's like, okay, so now now it's my transition. This is a transition.
Transitions, I think, are super important. We talk about this with the tradies a lot. You take your tool belt off and your boots off. You're walking through the door. You've transitioned from you're the tradie to as you walk through the door. All of those, you put your tools on charge and to bed, and your boots are out the door. Like you come inside and your dad,
your Steve,
husband, friend, whoever you are, you're walking in the door and you've transitioned from, from that role into your.
Yeah, we have so many transitions during the day that you don't really think of, really, don't you? When you think about it, like you go, man, we do a lot of transitioning.
Yeah, it's like, if you work from home a lot, like for me, I've found it helpful. I get into work clothes. I'm usually barefoot, but because I used to just wear my yoga clothes or shorts and so I would really easily, be going off doing domestics and things. Whereas now I'm like, no, this block this morning I'm in work mode. I got my work clothes on, and I'm in the office and the door is closed. And this is my work time. Because sometimes
I do the same thing. I close the door even if I'm home by myself.
Yeah, I did that today. Yeah,
which is weird, really, when you think about it.
But it creates that barrier that this is my office space, this is my workspace.
Yeah,
and when you do a bit of work from home, it can be really hard
Oh,
to have the boundaries.
It's so hard to have boundaries when you work from home.
Yeah.
You know.
But those transitions too, when you're at home from, okay, I got my work clothes on, I'm working, and then, okay, I'm not. So then, you know, what are we doing to transition from one role to another? So, yeah, the stop is a really short, you know, it can be 30 seconds. No one, again, needs to know that you're even doing it. It can be really short and effective. Another favourite tool to reset the nervous system is the body scan, also known as Yoga Nidra, or as what's his name? Huberman, Professor Huberman calls it non-sleep deep rest. He wanted to give it a non-yogi term to make it more acceptable for the wider population. But really it's, and Yoga Nidra in yoga is what we call like a yogic sleep. So you're not necessarily asleep, but you're at rest and you're still aware. Some people will fall asleep in a body scan. Usually when I'm doing them, they're falling asleep, but I've been doing them for a very long time.
It's your dulcet tones.
Yeah. It's like my mission.
This actually reminds me of another acting exercise, the body scan, but we used to, they used to get us to lie on the ground, right? This was before we were doing physical movement class, right? And in actual fact, I've used this over the years as if I'm really tense, it's a great way to relax. And you're lying on the ground and you imagine your feet, you're starting at your feet, you imagine your feet to be big slabs of red jelly.
Oh.
Right?
Yeah,
and you just sit there and you focus on them being red jelly. It's a lot better when someone's talking you through it.
Yeah.
You know, you hear someone go, they're red jelly, your feet are red jelly, you know, you can see them glistening and you can, right? And then they heat up and they melt into the floor.
Ah, yeah.
And then you do the same for your lower legs.
Yeah.
Red jelly heats up, melts into the floor.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, by the time you get to your chest,
you're gone ski.
You're a puddle.
Yeah.
you're a big puddle.
Literally. But it's visualizations.
Yes. So when I think of body scan,
you think of jelly.
I think of jelly.
Yeah, there you go. Love it. But really, you know, a body scan is just going, like you said, you know, you start at the feet, where I will often start at the head. So depending who's, teaching it, it's just going through parts of your body, bringing your awareness.
Are you a fan of the ones where you have to tense up the muscles and then relax them?
That's different. That's progressive muscle relaxation.
Right.
So that can be not everyone likes PMR. It can actually be quite challenging, and some people will not find it.
It sounds stressful to me.
Well,
because it sounds like you're going to get heaps of cramps. Like that's because a tense muscle to me
tensing and releasing. What I have noted, because I teach it regularly, is that, and I always bring the caveat that you might find this works for you, but you also might not. So I'm just be open and give it a go. And I think the most frequent challenge that will come up is that, because you're guiding them through it now, tense and release your hands, tense and release your forearm, tense and release your upper arm. And for some of the can be overthinking it a little bit or get a bit confused or, well, hang on a minute, how do I tense my whole...
It can be hard to isolate. How do I isolate that part of my body?
And I get a bit of, because I've got a PMR track and a Yoga Nidra body scan on Insight Timer, the app, and some of the feedback from the PMR is I found that really hard. And what do you mean I tense my whole body? And it's like, well, just imagine you're tensing your whole body, but people are really getting into their head about, or how that doesn't make any sense to me. So it can actually stress some people out, but it can be beneficial for people with ADHD or people that find a stillness practice really challenging.
Okay.
So it's tensing and releasing, and it can also, for people that maybe disassociate or disconnect from their body, or have really avoiding, they might have pain or trauma, they disconnect from their body. So it can be a way of bringing them back into the physical body and just going around the body and checking it out, and it can get them out of their head. So I always encourage people to, give these things a try. Like PMR for me, like I teach it, but for me personally, it doesn't float my boat. But Yoga Nidra, the body scan, I listen to body scans every night. It's how I go to sleep. I very rarely make the end. It just gets you out of your head, into your body, and magic.
Yeah, right.
So you're just noticing sensations through your whole body without judgment. You can start off with a shorter practice, move into a longer one. Lots of evidence behind that now, which is great. Doing things like mindfulness and body scans.
Anything to help you sleep, I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
You know, big fan of that, because I know sleep's we're going to talk about that shortly, but so mindfulness, that's it's.
Don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, don't overcomplicate it. Is the big thing, isn't it?
It's often our expectations of what we should be experiencing in these kind of practices. I think people can place too much expectation, and then it becomes, a barrier. So, and then it just goes out the window where it's, it's a process.
So, so when I'm doing it these days, doing meditations, I let myself experience whatever it is thought that sometimes in actual fact, and I know you and I have spoken about this before, an idea will just pop into my head. Like in actual fact, I find sometimes when I meditate, I miraculously get answers to problems or things that I haven't, or ideas for something that I go, that's a really good idea. I need to actually get up off my cushion and actually write that down, because I'm afraid I'm going to forget it. It's that good an idea.
Yeah, I do that.
And so I allow myself to think about whatever it is, because I know there's all those different methods, the thoughts. What are the thoughts doing?
Yeah.
Let them float out the river. Let them fly by the sky. And
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Well, there's another great exercise. It's very popular in acceptance and commitment therapy. ACT is the leaves down the stream exercise. And it's just, getting your thought, popping it on a leaf, sending it on its way down the stream. Just let it go. If it comes back, that's okay. Pop that thought on a leaf, let it go. And it's just a mindfulness practice of just let the thoughts come and go.
Yeah.
And it's really lovely.
Yeah. Well, talking about lovely, here we go. We are at the last of the life skills for our episodes, and it is Jodi Allen's wheelhouse. We've saved the best till last. Here we go, and we are talking, ladies and gentlemen, about lifestyle medicine.
Yes,
lifestyle medicine. I love the term. I just love the term lifestyle medicine.
Yeah, because people go, what is lifestyle medicine? But it's
what is lifestyle medicine, Jodi Allen?
Well, I think we did discuss it at the beginning of the podcast, but we can, just briefly go over it again. But it's really bringing in these pillars of health, these core pillars that we know through evidence that lead to us living our best selves with a healthy mental and physical health. And it's really looking at it in the preventative space, how if we're, meeting these core pillars and doing as much as we can consistently, we can prevent disease.
Yeah, and the thing I really love about this is that it is evidence-based. This isn't airy-fairy, juju, jar, whatever. The American College of Lifestyle Medicine framework is an evidence-based, high-value care model designed to treat, reverse and prevent chronic disease by addressing root causes through these 6 core pillars that you're talking about. And, this is early intervention at its core. This is keeping the population healthy at its core, isn't it? And the fact that it's based in evidence is, it's so good. So run us through the 6 pillars, Jodi.
Alrighty. So our first one is nutrition, which I get to see as a clinical nutritionist. I get to see the benefits of if I can improve someone's diet, I can significantly improve their physical and mental health. It's as straightforward as that. What does the nutrition look like under a lifestyle medicine model is very similar to the Mediterranean diet, which is the most studied diet in the world when it comes to mental health. And it's promoting a whole foods, predominantly plant-based, minimally processed, as close to nature as possible. So it's really...
Is there meat in this diet?
Yes. So it's predominantly fish and, there's chicken, but there's less red meat in the Mediterranean diet.
Yeah.
Which
there's just whenever I've heard whole food, plant-based, it always I think of...
Thank you for clarifying that, because I did
vegan.
say, yeah. So it is predominantly plants.
Right.
And small amounts of meat.
Yeah.
More, say, eggs, fish, chicken over red meat.
Yeah.
Is the Mediterranean style diet, and healthy fats like olive oil, avocados. So it's
butter.
Butter.
Butter makes everything better.
Butter makes everything better. So it's just as the evidence has shown time and time again with the Mediterranean style diet, we've been able to, in groups of people with depression, we've been able to see a remission of their depressive symptoms with as little as within 12 weeks of improving their diet. So I get to also see it within 2 weeks in our program of nutrition intervention with our participants, the impact that it has.
Well, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's very powerful.
And it's not only the food that they eat; it's what they're drinking as well.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times where I've come into the program on a Friday night and I opened the fridge and I'm like, the only thing in here is kombucha.
Only water and kombucha.
I'm like,
I don't care how many times you throw a tantrum, there is never going to be soft drink in there.
I think, oh man, I'm
just
poor
drink
guys.
the kombucha. And you know what? I believe that kombucha sales, Australia-wide have gone up solely because of I only allow for them to have kombucha or water.
Now, for those people that don't know, tell us what is kombucha.
Well, it's not kombucha, it's kombucha.
Kombucha, right, okay. Sorry, kombucha.
Well, it's a fermented drink. It's based on tea, and there is sugar, but it's consumed by the fermentation process, and it has healthy bacteria in it. So it's good for you and it's good for your gut. So we promote it also in
Are there different flavours?
Yes, there's different flavours. You can make your own, or you can, well, back in the day you only could make it yourself, but now it's widely available in the supermarket. So, the quality can vary, but it's a great alternative to, because we do know that soft drinks and artificial sweeteners impact the microbiome, the bugs in your gut. So we need.
Look, I'm not saying that every time I look in that fridge I want there to be cans of Coke or Sprite in there. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just
really?
saying,
Well,
Just once I'm like, it'd be nice if there was a beer. It'd be nice if there was a beer in there.
No.
Okay, so that's pillar one,
So
nutrition.
pillar one, I could bang on about nutrition for an hour.
Well,
but
the contact details for Jodi Allen are in all of the show notes, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to hear Jodi bang on about nutrition,
if you want me to chew your ear off about nutrition and mental health, I'm your gal. Can't over. I don't know what I'm about to say, but I cannot express enough.
That's right. How important nutrition is.
Nutrition is.
It's the everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
The next one is physical activity. And, really physical activity is anything that you can fit into your life and schedule that hopefully you enjoy, that is consistent. And, I love exercise, but there's times where I'm not motivated to do it, but I know that doing the hard things and, I rarely regret a workout. So
it's been interesting recently. I've learnt the fact that lifting weights is better for the brain than doing cardio.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're moving into.
I can't remember where that research came from, but it's something about, I don't know, about,
BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic
that sounds
factor.
familiar, yeah.
Yeah, it's like fertilizer.
It takes
for the brain.
more effort for your brain to process lifting heavy things than it does to go for a jog or something like that.
Yeah. There's a real drive now.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, towards strength training and all the benefits, not just for bone and muscle health, but brain health as well.
Get pumped up, people.
I'd do a bicep flex right now, but no one needs to see that.
Are you just doing that because you can isolate that muscle? Is that every time I think of the weights, I think of the Seinfeld episode where Badger goes, "Yeah, I'm huge."
Huge. And, even like exercise snacks and habit stacking, which I think we talk about a bit more about habit stacking towards the end. But, like for me, while I'm cleaning my teeth, I'll do a wall sit. It's I've got a chin-up bar over the door on my way to the bathroom. So I pass it, I've got to do a few chin-ups. Like it's.
Are you serious?
I've got the band. I do have to have the. Thanks for that. I almost got away with saying I do a few chin-ups. Okay, I can only do 1.5 by myself, but you put the band on there, I can do more.
Okay. I don't know what you're talking about with the band, but anyway.
Well, it's just a band that you put around the chin-up bar and you put your foot through it and it helps to lift you up. Right. It gives you a little bit of a boost. No, it's not cheating. It's helping.
It's a boost.
It's okay. Like a booster seat. Work out for a chart.
Good.
But it's,
Well, look, the fact that you've got it there, you every
Don't
day.
Be dissing my chin-up bar. Thank you very much.
No, I'm saying it's impressive, the fact that you've put it in a place that you go, every time I walk through that doorway, I've got to do that thing.
Well, it was my surf coach that he used to say, like, every time you go to the bathroom, you've got to do like 5 pop-ups. So pop-ups just start becoming like something that you don't even think of. So
what's a pop-up?
A pop-up when you got to get up onto your board from laying down to popping up.
Yeah. Can you give us an example?
Surf speak, no.
Cool.
Not that I'm an amazing surfer. So it's getting exercise. Like the recommendation is 150 minutes of moderate activity a week.
A week?
A week,
what's that?
150 minutes.
2.5 hours.
But you can break that up. So I also found some research. So whilst, the recommendation is to do, half an hour of exercise a day, for some people that's really not practical. They've got families working long hours or shifts. The weekend warrior, there's a study I read about the weekend warriors doing all of their exercise. So maybe going for a big cycle or going for a hard hike, or, doing a long duration
2.5 hours in one hit.
But going and doing, an intense block of exercise on the weekend was as effective as doing exercise on a daily basis.
Really?
Which I found great because I work with a lot of, people that it's just the daily exercise thing adds to their already really stressed state and adds to guilt and expectation, all those kind of things. So it's like, well, is there a way that you can get all this in? So I've got guys going out doing really long cycles or trail riding or, going for a 2-hour surf and, it's, where can you squeeze it in? Or is it something that you can do, go on a bike ride with your kids and things like that? So it's what can you fit in reasonably and get moving. Sleep hygiene. When we talk about sleep hygiene, so the recommendation is that most people generally need about 7 to 9 hours sleep a night. For us night owls, that's not always achievable, is it? Because we're often against, the society's, work rhythm. But sleep hygiene, when we talk about sleep hygiene, it's not a cure for sleep, but it really is what are the things that we do during the day and early in the evening before we go to sleep to set ourselves up for a good sleep. So we want to prioritize restorative sleep. How are we going to do that? And that's things like minimizing screen time, blue light. You can wear blue light blocking glasses. I wear them every night in the last couple of hours of the evening. No stimulating activities, not working out too intensely before sleep.
I've heard so many things about sleep recently. Like there's a great book out called Why We Sleep
by Matthew Walker.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and he's got a sleep series podcast.
Fascinating to think that I'm sure that I remember him saying there isn't one system in the human body that doesn't benefit from sleep.
Yeah.
Which is crazy when you think about it. And I remember, being a little bit heartbroken listening to that audio book at the fact that, the whole theory about you can't catch up on sleep, and all this sort of stuff and the power naps and all that sort of gear and so putting nutrition and sleep in the same thing, right? So what's the I can't remember, he was saying about a certain amount of time before bed is the last you should be eating because
general rule is not eating 2 to 3 hours before sleep because you shouldn't be going to, often a lot of people will be snacking late at night.
Well, that's what happens to me. I'll go, you do a gig like night workers and performers and stuff, and after that, I got to tell you, no matter how much I eat before I do a show, I walk off stage, I'm starving.
Yeah.
Even though I've just been standing there talking, I'm hungry at the end of it. and then you're driving home, it's 10:30, 11:30 at night, and your food options are not that great.
Yeah.
You know, you're getting cheese, you're getting service station ham and cheese sandwiches or egg and lettuce sandwiches or something like that, or little yogurt and muesli, but that's it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're starving, but then you're going to go to bed an hour later.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it's the quality of it's okay, if you have been working and you are genuinely hungry. I'm probably talking more about the mindless, snacking and treats and things.
The M&Ms.
Yeah. But, I mean, you can have absolutely, if it's an hour before bed and you have been working and you're really hungry, there are things that you can eat, a little bit of protein and a little bit of carbs. Mm-hmm. So it might be in the shape of having some nuts and some blueberries, or a little bit of plain, Greek yogurt and some nuts. There's better things that you can have if you are genuinely hungry, because we don't want to be digesting, heavy, fatty, high sugar foods before you're meant to be sleeping, because sleeping is meant to be a restful, non-digesting, state.
Because it's to do with your heart rate, right? Like when you're processing food, your heart rate's increased.
Well, and metabolism. Your metabolism's increasing,
and that's what inhibits your ability to fall asleep properly.
Yeah. Well, and if you're, if you're having something that if you had sugar, there's blood sugar dysregulation that can be occurring while you sleep. It can be why you also wake up during sleep. You could be underfed or overfed. There's so many things. Probably don't really have time to go into all of that. But simple hygiene, sleep hygiene rules for yourself. Dim lights, turning the lights down, really creating that environment, a cool room, comfortable bed, setting up your environment that's conducive to unwinding. Give the brain the cue, I'm winding down for sleep now. But if you look up sleep hygiene, just Google sleep hygiene and you'll get some great practical tips. Stress management, we've talked a lot about, stress reduction techniques, which is a lot of the breathing. We've talked about breathing exercises, mindfulness, exercise, walking, those kind of things. So really stress management.
And once again,
getting into your breath.
Falls into place with all of the life skills.
Self-care,
self-awareness, problem solving, dealing with your emotions, all of that, being able to make decisions, being informed, critical decisions and all, critical thinking, creative thinking, informed decision making helps manage your stress as well. So it's they all keep interacting.
They all interact with each other, that's right.
Substance avoidance.
Yeah, so under lifestyle medicine, they really flag this as one of the important interventions in, preventing disease and ill health is eliminating or reducing smoking, alcohol, and risky substance use. So we know that like alcohol disrupts the gut, interferes with sleep. So even just, avoiding or reducing those substances can help improve, our physical and mental health and, social connection, as we've talked about, maintaining friendships and relationships, finding your tribe is super important for mental health. So we've only, we could go into great deep dives to all of these pillars, but they're that's kind of just touching the surface of them.
It's a great list.
It is a great list.
It is a great list. If you wanted to do a deep dive into it, it's the American College of Lifestyle Medicine framework. Nutrition, physical activity, sleep hygiene, stress management, of substance avoidance, and social connection. It's brilliant. And lifestyle changes, it's saying that, I've read where it says that they can be as effective as many medications for some conditions.
Absolutely. And, if we can bring all of these factors into someone's lifestyle, we know that we can reduce or eliminate some medications. So we're never saying, go off all your medications and this is all you need to do. We would never say that, but we know through evidence, and I know through, clinical experience, is that if we can improve a lot of these pillars in someone's life, we can really have a positive impact on their health. And we've had guys on 20 plus medications, reducing them by half within months. So, in line with their medical practitioners and their psychiatrists, we can work on titrating down some medications by bringing in some, lifestyle improvements. Powerful stuff.
So it is powerful stuff, but let's play, the devil's advocate now, because, modern life and modern day life and the, hectic, flat out lifestyle that everyone's leading is pretty full on,
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the time modern life works against a healthy lifestyle, because we've got to be at work, we've got to be doing this, we've got to, kids have got to go to school, or footy on the weekends, or, you got work commitments and all that sort of stuff. And aside from all of that, we're in an age where we've got information overload, You and I both know that you can find a research study to support the pros for the some thing and then the cons against something else, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, when they dive into something like this, they hit it with it's all or nothing.
Yeah, we see it a lot.
I'm going flat out on this, because everyone loves a good fad, right? Yeah. You know what I mean?
And then when
they
one
jump on board,
drops off, then it all goes out the window. And I think it's the small, consistent actions that move the needle to the direction or in the green, however you want to look at it, the most.
Yeah.
So we don't have to be, I think there is a lot of guilt around all the things we should be doing.
Yeah.
I read recently where a woman said, if one more doctor says to me, what are you doing to look after yourself? Because she had 3 kids with, high needs. She said, I'm just going to scream. But, because time was not something that she had the privilege of, finding for herself. So it's what can you do and what small actions can you do?
Well, that's where the habit is. That the habit, because we've all got our existing habits that we do, like brushing our teeth at a certain time of day, or doing this in the morning, having a coffee, feeding the pets, or whatever it is, and
habit stacking is one of my favourite. I'm a big fan of habit stacking.
So talk us through what that is.
So one of the ways that we can affect the most positive change with bringing in a new habit is we stack it with an existing one, because habits are around cues, timing, the behaviour and the reward. So if we already have an existing habit, we already have that timing and the cue there, and we're just attaching it to that. So for an example is like what I said, I'm going to the bathroom, I'm going to do 3 chin-ups. I'm going to brush.
It was 2 half an hour ago.
Yeah, No, I'm going to do 3 with the band, with the assistants, all right? Stop it. How many chin-ups can you do?
Don't know. Seems like a pointless exercise to me.
I'm proud of my
Seems
1.5
like a pointless
chin-ups.
exercise to me.
Much.
Why would I want to do a chin-up? What's above that bar that I can't see here?
I think one of the easiest, moving right along, one of the easiest ones is, the wall sit while you're brushing your teeth. Everyone can do that.
Yep.
It's so easy.
That's a cool one.
And it's great for your thighs. Same with in the morning, the first thing I do in the morning is a big drink of water.
Yeah.
It's beside my bed. So drink of water, I do have a couple of habit stacks that I've set up. Feet on floor, drink of water. What's your habit stack?
After I exercise, I jump in the pool.
Yeah, nice.
And before I sit in my chair at my desk,
Yep.
I've got a cupboard in the spare room or in my office. It's and in the cupboard is where I keep my meditation mat and cushion. So it's easily accessible. So I work on the theory that I don't sit there at my desk until I've sat there on the cushion. Even if it's for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great.
It's kind of a habit. Well, sitting at your desk isn't really a habit, is it?
Yeah, but it's a process. It's the cue is there.
Yeah.
So you're connecting them together. So and then it takes less effort. So and it's just working out.
Oh, there's so many of these, isn't there? Like I've heard people say, when you brush your teeth, stand on one leg one day and stand on another leg the other day, or when you put your
balance.
When you put your socks on, put your socks on one way one day and put them on the
mix
left,
it up.
Or your shoes. If you usually put your left shoe on, put your right shoe on first, and because a lot of these things are to do with brain health, aren't they?
Well, and it's helping to rewire the brain and that as well. Like you're embedding new.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to habit change science, it's anywhere. A habit can take from 14 days to I can't remember off the top of my head.
I thought it was 21 days. Was it 21 days to form or break a habit?
Yeah. No. Well, the research is looking more at, it's much broader than that. So it can be anywhere from, the minimum, it can be a week or 2 weeks to, for some people, it's 300 and something or other days. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it can be almost a year. So for some people, a new habit can be really quick. So the old 21 days that's very simplistic.
Right.
And it implies that 21 days works for everyone. But research has shown the same habit change can for one person happen in a couple of weeks, another person will take a year.
Yeah,
so
right.
it's very individual and it varies widely. So how can you make a new habit something that you want to change a lot more easier on yourself is stacking it onto something else. So you could start with one new habit. Go get your chin-ups happening. Or squats. I do squats while the coffee machine's going and the little push-ups against the kitchen bench.
Settle down.
Getting a bit carried away.
There's no more squats going on anytime
Alrighty,
soon.
let's integrate this stuff.
Okay, let's pull it all together, but let's get all this together.
Yeah.
Because we have covered so much over this last four episodes, and like this last one, I know we've gone on a bit, but it really does bring it all to, managing emotions helps you regulate your internal experience and improves your emotional regulation, which is incredibly important. Mindfulness helps you be present and increases your emotional awareness as to what's going on around you. And lifestyle medicine, as Jodi's just outlined with the 6 pillars, so incredibly powerful stuff, which provides physical foundation, support healthy lifestyle choices, and improves emotional regulation, supports mindfulness practice, and will not, all this stuff's not only good for your physical health, but it's going to be good for your mental health as well. So, the 12 life skills as they have spread out over the last 4 episodes, Jodi, we put them together for a specific reason, my friend. So if you haven't already listened to the first 3 episodes, to run down, episode 1, we covered the foundation of your life skills, which was self-awareness, knowing yourself, stress management, how to regulate the pressures that we all find ourselves in daily life, and problem solving, how to address the challenges that we have in our lives. And then we went into the thinking trio, Jodi.
Yeah, episode 2 was the thinking trio. We went through the critical thinking, which is, evaluating clearly, creative thinking, which is generating solutions, decision making, helping us to choose wisely.
And then we were all about connection in episode 3. If you haven't already listened to it, communication, how to express yourself clearly and effectively for the betterment of your relationships and your work life, your professional life as well. It's not only personal but professional communication and relationships, how to connect more meaningfully with the people in your life is very important, and to go hand in hand with that empathy, understanding deeply. And then this episode, winding it up with
episode 4, we went through our emotion management of regulating our feelings. We talked about mindfulness, being present in the moment. And we just went through the lifestyle medicine, how we can live well through the pillars of health and how they all support each other.
They do. They do all support each other. Self-awareness helps emotion manage of your emotions, and stress management can use, not only mindfulness but self-awareness. Problem solving uses critical requires problem solving requires us sometimes to think critically and think creatively, and communication requires empathy.
Yeah.
Yep. Relationships, what do they need?
Emotion regulation.
That's right. And what benefits from lifestyle medicine, Jodi Allen?
Absolutely everything.
There you go. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. What benefits from lifestyle medicine? Everything.
Everything.
Bumper stickers coming to a car near you. So the 30-day integration challenge, my friends that have tuned in for the 4 episodes, and thank you for joining us on the journey. So we want to approach it this way to give you a bit of a call to action as we wind up the 4 episodes of the Life Skills Masterclass. So each day we ask you to focus on one of the life skills, that we've covered over the 4 episodes. And just, go, today is going to be my day where I'm going to look at critical thinking, or I'm going to manage my emotions, or I'm going to try and be more self-aware today, or I'm going to lean into my relationships today. Choose one of the life skills for a day, and cycle your way through all the 12 of the life skills that we've focused on, Like your lifestyle medicine day might be, going back to those 6 core pillars and go, okay, I'm going to address my sleep or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's the best way is to build it gradually, isn't it?
Yeah, small steps consistently make the biggest impact. So we're building our habits gradually. And I always talk about, when people ask what is the best diet or what is the best, sleep hygiene, and it's really working out what is best for you and what can you do for the rest of your life. So this is what I do. This is my process. This is my routine. I do what I can without judgment, without guilt,
Progress over perfection.
Progress over perfection. We're not seeking perfection. That's where that expectation comes in and can often make things even more difficult for ourselves. We're celebrating the small wins, and maybe by day 30, you've practiced each life skill maybe 2 or 3 times. Can you continue beyond the 30 days? What are actually becoming your lifelong skills? And maybe there's a little reward for yourself.
Give yourself a little reward.
Yeah, that's right. What floats your boat?
That's it. What have you been putting off that you go, I wouldn't mind doing, what a great thing to reward yourself, at the end of 30 days, and let us know. Let us know, my friends, wherever you're listening, if you are going to take up the 30-day Life Skills Masterclass challenge, and just let us know your experience of how these life skills are integrating into your life and how you've been able to, make your life a little bit better day by day.
Yeah.
Doing little things for yourself and the people around you, because ultimately you look after yourself, the people around you benefit as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just for you, it's for the positive impact that you have on people around you, because often when you make positive change, it inspires others.
So
love that.
The 12 life skills, 4 episodes, 1 comprehensive framework for living well. I wish I could take credit for the fact that we put these life skills together, but we can't. It's the World Health Organization has got the life skills, right? Yeah, what do they
it's
know?
All us.
What
it's
do they know,
us.
Right? We added mindfulness and lifestyle medicine, of course, right?
We're game changers.
Oh, yeah, game changers. So you now have a complete set of life skills framework, my friends. These skills are evidence-based. Everything that we have talked about is based in evidence, and which is incredibly important. If you go back and you listen through the 4 episodes, you'll notice that each one has, there's practical, actionable things that you can take to use these life skills in your everyday life, and they'll work if you practice them.
Yeah.
It's no silver bullet. It's just doing a little bit day by day, because we're not pretending to have all the answers and have it all figured out. Everything is a work in progress.
Yeah,
absolutely. Isn't it? It's all a work in progress.
We're evolving. I think if we just look at life, that we're an evolution and we're constantly learning and evolving, and hopefully in these 4 episodes we've been able to share a bit of our learnings and experience, our lived experience in that as well. We're certainly not perfect, are we?
No. So because as we do we'll bring this series to an end, is there been any of those 12 life skills, Jodi, that stand out for you as the ones that you go, yeah, maybe those ones I think are my favourite?
I don't know about favourites, because I love it all, but I think the going over the critical thinking, creative thinking, because that's not something that I often sit in that space. So it was good to kind of go over that and have a bit more of a think about too, that what times have I used that in my life. So I found that really helpful. But, and thinking about how everything, as we went along, everything went back to the start. They're all interwoven with each other. They all bounce off each other. And it's just the little, the things that we were sharing were not complicated, not technical, not expensive. It's
everyday things.
Everyday things.
Yeah.
And if it's just one thing that you take out of these podcasts and integrate into your life, I would be very happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, on a personal note, I want to say thank you so much for agreeing to be my co-host for this series. And, it's been great. I know that it's been a lot of work and it's been a lot of time that I've hijacked you for, given everything else that you've got going on. So I do really appreciate it. And hopefully I haven't burnt the bridge that you won't come back. I hope you'll come back at some point.
Come on. No, thank you for inviting me along on this ride. It's been a lot of fun and I've really enjoyed it. And it's been great. It's been a great experience.
It has been very cool. So in all of the notes for these 4 episodes, and if you haven't already checked it out, Jodi has got her own standalone episode, which is the one leading into the Life Skills Masterclass. So check that out. I'll make sure that all of Jodi's contact detail, like, Jodi Allen Nutrition website, Instagram. You got a LinkedIn handle, don't you?
Of course.
Of course you do.
All that jazz.
So we'll make sure that we put all of that up there as well. So, it's one of those things, folks, that you get out of it what you put into it. And, we've put a lot into putting these 4 episodes together, so we hope that you've got a lot out of it. We really do.
Yeah.
Because it's, we live in a time where there's so much turmoil and angst and negativity in the world and uncertainty with the way that, global policies and political instability. There we go. There's a word for it.
I think we need to wrap this up
It's
now.
instability, right? So we want you to be happy and we want you to be well. And that's it. And
that's
it's
our whole purpose, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't think I've missed anything. Here we go, winding it up. So, back to business as usual with the upcoming podcast episodes. I'm not sure who my guests are going to be over the coming weeks, and I've got a couple of solo episodes coming out. So there'll be a pulse episode showing some research and that sort of gear. So, keep an eye out. But in the meantime, like I said, Jodi, thank you so much for joining me for the last 4 weeks, and then your own episode before that. And wherever you're tuning in, my friends from around the world, as always, please be kind to yourself, be kind to those around you. Hope you've enjoyed the Life Skills Masterclass series. Jodi Allen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. The information contained in this podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes. It is not intended, nor should it ever replace, advice received from a physician or mental health professional. Want more info? Visit thelaughterclinic.com.au. If you enjoyed the episode, please share and subscribe. Thanks again for listening to the Laughter Clinic podcast with your host, Mark McConville.